Plus, if you're going to put in this very strong level of people who simply don't care what you vote. And you're going to see that the voters' behavior is much more typical Brazilian behavior. When you're going to put in your money here and there, and what you used to believe existing as a loyal voter or die-hard voter is simply disappearing. It's still remaining either in small ethnic groups, minorities, or basically some generations. This is true, by the way, both to the left and to the right. The die-hard voters of the major parties are mainly people who already existed. And from this point of view, obviously the voter is also not what it used to be. He's not organized, he's ready to change his vote easily. In many cases, he's not very much informed, and also we have this new and not so new phenomenon in which basically he's selling his vote in the way he's selling basically. He simply goes on the market. It was interesting to see that very often young people trying to say, give me money and vote how you want, because I don't care anyway. It's not as incentivized. And of course, the reader also is very much replaced by the TV watcher or the people who's very much using the internet. Also totally different type of experience, and I will touch on this just in there. Plus you get the tourist. Tourist is a very interesting figure, and by the way, very interesting figure with rights. Even before it was only the immigrant. So now the tourist is somebody about whose rights you care, and the immigrant is somebody whose rights you basically try to ignore if you are from the point of view of government, because everybody is interested to invite you to go and to spend in this country. But at the same time, you have much more sensitivities if you decided to come and to live in this country. So I think this because behind all our theories of human rights and democracy, there's some very strong assumptions which I believe are much more problematic than they used to be. And this is a special problem for Central and Eastern Europe, because for us the model of democracy is very much about what we know and what we have read about Western Europe in the 1970s or 1980s. But it changed a lot. I mean, all these major figures that we will describe in this process, they're not there also in Western Europe. So when we speak very much about what is normal and what is not normal, we also describe a certain normality of the 1980s that disappeared. And one of the reasons, of course, was also the end of the Cold War. We should be keeping, for example, on the voters level, the two basic agents of organizing the political space in Western Europe as a political space was the Communist Party on the left and the Church on the right. After 1989, basically, the Communist parties in Western Europe lost their ideological legitimacy, but also some sources of funding. On the other side, the Church is in the process of secularization, but also the general privatization of the belief is lost in most of the countries the possibility to affect the way the people vote. Even in countries where the Catholic Church, for example, is a real political factor, like in Poland, we do not see the Catholic Church functioning in the way it functions, for example, in Italy, as a vote provider for the Christian Democrats. Several attempts were basically, there was beginning attempts in the middle of the 90s to try to organize it in this way. It didn't work. I mean, of course, there are major issues like abortion and others where people are violent, but it does not mean that they're going to be a local priest who's going to tell people how to vote. I mean, for some people it's true, but in a big way, especially when we're talking about younger people, it's very different. And even when some of these players are very influential, like Radio Maria and others, this is not the official church. It's also kind of a civil society groups, nonetheless. Some people are not going to be happy with this definition of these groups, but they're very much self-organized. They're outside of the institutions, they have their messages, and they relate. And the second very strong assumption which was here is that the informed citizen is taken for granted. Because democracy, total democracy is very much not simply about majority and minority. The real protagonist of the democratic society is a person who can change his position and his opinion after receiving certain arguments. So democracy is not only government by consent, it's very much government by discussion. From this point of view, if you try to watch some of the classical films of the 50s and 60s, you're going to see how democracy works. For example, 12 Angry Men. Do you know this one? By the way, if you have time, because now it's easy to take everything. This maybe we can report from this play there. It's a classical film of the 1960s, and the story of the film, because it's important to my argument, is the following. This is a jury, American jury, and there is a case of a black kid that, according to the prosecutor, is killed. And all the witnesses and so on, he will be there, and the 12 entered all the film because it was also a famous play before it. All the 12 persons are there, and they should take a decision, innocent, guilty. And it starts with the fact that the 11 persons are absolutely sure that it's guilty. And there is only one who said, I'm not sure. And he started talking. And the whole film is how all these 11 changed their mind on the basic arguments and the questions he asked. It's very kind of a utopian story, classical, very nice, but it's about a reasonable doubt. I cannot be sure because of this. And after they start to re-examine certain factors. But this is the ideal type of democracy. Imagine this kind of a jury discussion and try to see very much position in the popular culture in which we live. First of all, this jury had been discussing for 6-7 hours. Now the time and getting the attention of the people to any argument had been reduced to 2 or 3 minutes. So nobody has any patience anymore to listen, in public space, to the arguments of the others being well articulated and designed. For example, if we're going to talk about the Bible votes, nobody is going to be interested in a sociological analysis, why it came, why it came, how it worked, what is not work. Everybody is going to tell you, are you for or against, and also tell you who's doing this. So the whole media is going to be very much changed. And also with that internet phenomenon, there is also one book, because I do believe also part of the discussions about interesting books that some of us have been read and will be interesting to the others. There is a very nice book, beautiful, by a very well-known legal scholar, American legal scholar, Krastev. Probably you've heard, but the easiest one, because the book has several versions, the newest one is called Republic 020. First was Republic.com. So basically he makes a very simple point based on quite a lot of empirical data. Everybody believes that now when we have internet, people are much more exposed to a different opinion. He said, no. And now when I go to your personal experience and we were able to review this, he said, yes, of course you can go and get any information you want. But normally, you always go to your favorite sources of information. Even more. Because people are not, especially younger people, are not reading newspapers anymore. They're always going home to topics that are special interest to them. So you're individually filtering the information